Hey, Reviews and Dunn. Who's giving you a dose this week?
How's it going all? Once again, it's your boy Derek Dunn back with another interview for Reviews and Dunn. Today I have quite the interesting subject on the line, and that's Mr. Michael Workman, the subject of the new indie film, Secret Mall Apartment. So welcome to the line, sir, and how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm going to say aloud that you just made up a superhuman being. I am Michael Townsend, and the director of the film is Jeremy Workman.
One of them days with no caffeine, so I'm running over the fumes. So
And together
apologies for
we've
that.
been unstoppable. So,
So what can you tell potential viewers about this new project that you guys are working on?
my goodness, I am a artist that had a adventure in a super shopping mall here in Providence, Rhode Island, where I built an apartment and lived in it off and on for 4 years. And Jeremy Workman, a maker of documentaries, made an entire movie about it, and it has been released commercially into the theaters, so people can sort of see this adventure with their own eyes.
So, what was the genesis behind actually, moving into a mall? I mean, I think growing up as a child of the '80s and the '90s, when the mall was the place to be, we all had those fantasies and I guess adventures in our mind. Like, what would we do if we could actually be in the mall for one night? The food court could serve as a dinner place where would we sleep, but more than
Yeah.
likely, myself, I'd be up in Suncoast all night or in the arcade. So, what was the genesis behind the film for you to actually undertake this experiment?
Yeah. Well, here in Providence, Rhode Island, the love of a big mall did not die down in the 90s. And by 1999, we opened up one of the largest super regional shopping malls in the United States. That just means it's big. 11 stories high, 1.3 million square feet of space. And when this mall opened, additional development projects rippled through our city. And only a mile away, I was living in a big industrial mill building, an artist collective with a whole bunch of artists. And we'd been there for many, many years. And a developer came to us and said, hey, this building would be great as a parking lot for another mall, strip mall that we want to build. We fought him for 2 years, lost that fight. We had our homes ripped down. And in the loss of that home, we turned our focus to the mall, and we found in the mall a 750 square foot space that was off the radar. And so much like that fantasy of like, oh, how could I live here? Could I ever live in a mall? We found that space. And over the course of 4 years, we moved in everything we needed to make a fully domestic living space, like a full apartment in the mall. And that project lasted until someone finally, the right person bumped into us or the wrong person bumped into us. It came to an abrupt end, but not before we had fully furnished it.
So, one of the things I really liked, in the plot summary and in the film itself was there's kind of an allusion to gentrification and sticking it to the man and how they subtly overtake um overtake land. Was that the intended purpose that you guys were going for?
Well, I think it's definitely the catalyst for getting it started was the gentrification. When neighborhoods shift, and especially when they shift violently, when you tear down people's homes, you are displacing them and sending them out into the wild. A lot of people will just, they may stay in the city, but a lot of people will move out of cities when they can't live there anymore. In our case, we sort of became hyper-focused in staying within the city itself. And the ripple effect of it was this desire to build this space in the mall to sort of, as a comeuppance in a way to what had happened to us.
Very cool. So while this is a doc, and Jesse Eisenberg is one of the EPs on it,
Yes.
as a cinephile myself, I could see this working as a traditional narrative feature, underdog story. So who would you like to see play you should they ever go that route and make this a traditional narrative feature?
Well, you know what? I think you just said the name aloud. if it was going to be anyone who wants to play me, it would have to be Jesse. I think Jesse's actually got the right temperament to be me. And on top of that, one of the reasons he was interested in this story is that he shot a movie here in Providence where he lived in this sort of like crappy new construction that was built right next to the mall. So he had the experience of walking the same streets that I walk, lived in the same neighborhoods I live in currently. So he's probably the quickest study as far as like getting into character.
Cool. So I mentioned earlier, how it was at the mall in the 80s and the 90s, growing up in that era.
Yeah.
And now that I'm in my 40s, I think the mall has kind of lost its luster. You go in to get what you have to get, or you
Yeah.
go in to get your steps in if you're exercising. But taking it back to the 80s and the 90s for yourself, sir, what was your one go-to spot in the food court and your favorite store growing up as a teen in Providence at the mall?
Man. So my Providence got their mall in 99. I did grow up mall culture. I was mostly a Worcester, Massachusetts mall person. And I was an arcade junkie. So the arcades at the mall was the big lure for me. Followed by the Orange Julius, the Walden bookstores, RIP, and just strawberries for records and cassettes. It was so awesome to go to one place where I could sort of scratch all those itches in one visit. And it's spaces that I still think about and want to return to. The mall here is truly big and also truly bankrupt. It's $255 million in the hole. And if you go there on a Saturday afternoon, though, you'd be fascinated to find a mall that looks like it's absolutely flourishing, just packed. And it's a true contradiction because you're like, how is this mall bankrupt, but yet filled to the rafters with people? I think people still, and you mentioned like people, they go and do their shopping and leave, but there's still a real lure and desire to be in those types of spaces because they're sort of, even though there are very, very, very private spaces, they still operate as public spaces. They're the one place where you can go and sort of see everyone from the city in one place. And there's so much temptation and allure and desires to be fulfilled as far as things to buy and experiences to have. So, that sort of mall model has definitely shifted pretty radically, and now we live in a world where we can just sit on our couch and get all the things we want, but I still think people like to see other people. They want good retail experiences. And there are still enough malls out there to fill that desire, but they're not doing well.
That's sad but true. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm in the DC area, and so
Yeah.
we had a Simon. So Potomac Mills was the mall to go to growing up. So I mean, one of my best friends and I, we had a routine every Saturday. We meet up, go see like a 9:45 movie.
Yeah.
Literally walk the entire mall once or twice. Stop at Books a Million to waste like 30 minutes. Go to the arcade. Just it was a time that I wish these kids today could really, fully vest in and fully experience like how much it was to beat them all. Even going to a food court in most malls today, they're so bare and so just there's no heart anymore. Like it's about the greed. That's another conversation for another
Yeah.
time though. But I definitely want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to chop it up with me. And folks in the DC area can catch Secret Mall Apartment in theaters next month. Is there anything else you'd like to add, sir?
Man, I'm going to say aloud that on May 9th, it's going to show in DC at an Alamo Draft House, and I am going to be there for the 7 o'clock Q&A.
Very cool. Which draft house? The one in DC or the one in Crystal City?
I think I do not know the answer to, but if you go to secretmallapartment.com, you can see all the cities that this movie is playing in, and you can narrow in on which one is the one closest to you.
All right, very cool. Well, I'll try to come out and support that so I can support it in the theater.
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you again, sir, for taking time out of your schedule to chop it
Appreciate
up.
it.
Hey, what's up? This is Ludacris.
What's up, y'all? This is Nicki Minaj.
You're rocking with the best. It's Reviews and Done.